Ready? Hi, my name is Libby Johnson, and I'm the Ag Agent for Escambia and Santa Rosa County, and we are here in the Phytogen variety trials with Louie Joe Smith, the local grower, and he's going to give us some background as to what he did in planting this crop.
Hello, I'm Louie Smith. Welcome. And we planted this cotton on May the 29th. We planted one seed every 6 inches. And we fertilized it with a grid sample with our phosphate and our potash. And we come back in June with 75 pound of ammonium sulfate and 75 pound of urea blend. And then we applied 28005 in July. So that gives us a total of about 106 pound of N per acre, along with 30 pound of sulfur. We applied on the herbicides, we applied a burn down with lead off at 1.5 ounces, 10 ounces of 2,4-D LV4 with a 1.5 pints of Roundup. And we come back later with a regular application of Roundup at 1.5 pints. And then later on in the season, we come back with 1.5 pints of Roundup and 1 pint of Dual. We sprayed it for insects one time for aphids, and the PGR, plant growth regulator, was applied on July the 25th at 12 ounces, and then we came back with another pint on August the 11th, which gives us a total of 28 ounces of PGR. We have several different varieties out here to look at, and we've been doing this for several years, and it's been good working with Al Wright and Russell through the years. Thank you.
Hi, so we're here with Russell Nuti, the Cotton Development Specialist for Phytogen, and he's going to give us some background on some of the work done here and what they're trying to accomplish. Russell?
Thank you, Libby. Today we're here in Jay, Florida on Louie Joe Smith's farm. I want to thank Louie Joe and Travis for working with us for the past several years to do our Phytogen innovation trials. Behind us you'll see a strip trial with 2 reps with I think 8 different varieties of Phytogen cottonseed. These local trials give us the opportunity to demonstrate the variety performance, management, and then end of season yield and grade that a grower's looking for actually in their own backyard. So growers from this area, from the county surrounding, can look at this data and make good decisions next year when they choose new varieties. The other thing I want to point out today is we've got several experimental varieties in this trial, so we can compare those experimental varieties with our current commercial varieties and give people an opportunity to see how new things look in the field so that in their launch year they'll have a good idea of what to expect. Before we talk about the varieties individually, what I'd like to do is talk about Phytogen in general and the Phytogen trait package and the native traits package that we have. So when we talk about the Phytogen breeding program, we talk about having a complete package. The trait package in general for these Phytogen varieties is W3FE, which is Wide Strike 3 Roundup Flex Enlist. With the Enlist program, you get the flexibility to apply glyphosate, Liberty, and the Enlist herbicides all together and give you that opportunity to create what you need to take care of your weed problems. The Wide Strike 3 gives you 3 traits for worm control and gives you what you really need to take care of our insect pressure in this day and time. With our native traits, we've got varieties that have bacterial blight resistance, root knot nematode resistance, and reniform nematode resistance. And all the varieties I'll talk about today have bacterial blight resistance and root knot nematode resistance. We're very excited for 2021 because we will be launching our reniform nematode resistant cotton varieties. So we'll talk about each of those individually as we look at the cotton plots. We're here in Jay, Florida. We're going to go through some varieties in a Phytogen innovation trial. And this first variety is Phytogen 3D32. This is an experimental. It has bacterial blight resistance, root knot nematode resistance, and reniform nematode resistance, all with the W3FE package. So this variety still is an experimental variety. We hope to launch it for 2021. And what we see out of this is it's a relatively aggressive growing variety. We've had a decent amount of rain here. but it's an early maturing variety as well. One thing I've seen with this variety is it will show its fruiting pattern based on the environment that it's in. So it'll be a smaller plant in lighter rainfall, and in rainfall situations like this where it's been very adequate, you'll see a pretty robust plant like this. This variety is Phytogen 400. It is also a W3FE variety. It's resistant to bacterial blight and root knot nematodes. This variety is quickly becoming a favorite across much of the U.S., and it's definitely a favorite here in the Southeast. We're seeing this variety be extremely easy to manage. It's a mid-maturing variety that doesn't grow too aggressively, and it takes advantage of resources very well. We're expecting to see high consistent yields across the board with Phytogen 400. I'm standing in front of another Phytogen experimental variety, Phytogen 3D43. This is a mid-maturing version of our bacterial blight, root knot nematode, and reniform nematode resistant cotton that will be released in 2021. We're looking forward to seeing this variety hit the market. We've seen very consistent trials this year in the field in heavy reniform and root knot situations, and this variety also has high yield performance whether you're in a nematode situation or not. So we're excited to bring this one to the market. It will be a mid-maturing variety. This variety is Phytogen 500. This was released last year, and we're excited because we've had a lot of good comments on growers that have put this in the field this year. It's a full season variety. It's a very aggressive growing plant early, and it will cut out. So under high inputs, this is a variety that is manageable, but will grow you a stalk quickly. Another thing that sets Phytogen 500 apart from our other varieties is it's a smooth leaf variety. So in areas where whiteflies are a concern or gin trash, a smooth leaf variety like this would be the choice to make. I'm standing between two more experimental varieties. These are Phytogen 5E28 and 5E34. We're looking at these varieties because they are mid to full season versions of our bacterial blight, root knot nematode, and reniform nematode resistant varieties. You can see pretty aggressive growth out of these varieties in a dryland situation. Our experience with these varieties last year where they yielded very well. In this same plot last year we had again a dryland situation where 5E28 made close to 1,400 pounds here in Jay, Florida in 2019. I'm standing in front of Phytogen 5C45. This is an experimental variety we're looking at for 2021. It's a root knot nematode and bacterial blight resistant variety. We're excited about this variety because it is a full season classification that does very well dryland, but it has extremely high yield potential under irrigation and high management. So we're looking for this variety to really hit that top end and make a mark that people will recognize as far as high yield. This is Phytogen 580. It has bacterial blight resistance and root knot nematode resistance. This is an extremely full season variety, and in areas that have a lot of dry land where you go in and out of drought and need something to come back after things have totally quit, this is the variety for those situations. 580 is something that's going to keep blooming as long as there's heat units and moisture available to bloom. 580 was released in 2019, and we've been pretty excited to have this variety on the market because our southern geography allows us some forgiveness in the calendar, but we need some genetics behind that to be able to take advantage of those extra days. I'll go ahead and wrap up today and thank Libby Johnson and her crew for giving us the opportunity to show our varieties virtually, and I hope everybody enjoyed getting to hear about these. Thank you.
So we have seen a lot of great varieties, and I'm wondering what could be the highest yielding one in this trial, and maybe Russell and Al can answer that for us.
Okay, I'll give you my best shot. I've looked at a lot of variety trials recently, and when I look at this lineup, it's hard to pick a winner. So I'm excited about 400. I told you earlier that 5E28 last year in Louie Joe's plot made 1,400 pounds. 400 was right behind it. So 400's been very consistent. If I had to put some money down, that's the one I'd choose right now. Al, what do you think?
I've got the same opinion.
My name's Russell Nuti. I'm a Phytogen cotton development specialist, and I'm here today to show you one of our demonstrations with our experimental varieties. We're leading up to the launch in 2021 of our root knot and reniform resistant varieties. 3D43 is one of those varieties, And this past year, we made a large effort to demonstrate this with as many growers as we could find that had either reniform or root knot pressure. And some of those fields had heavy pressure and other fields have lighter pressure. And by getting in some heavy fields with bad root knot and reniform, we're able to show drastic differences in plant size compared to susceptible varieties. In a case like this, where we see the varieties acting pretty evenly with a top commercial variety, in fact, you can probably see a line between this variety and the next. We've got it stripped through this field. That variety is the most popular variety in the U.S. right now. It's popular because it's been on the market for a long time. It's been high yielding and very consistent. One of the things we want to be able to compare is in a place with low nematodes or little nematodes, is these new varieties are performing either with that top end variety or perhaps better than those varieties. So we've got plenty of places where we've got a drastic difference. In this situation, up till now, it doesn't look like much of a difference, and we're getting excited to get to the end of the year. If you look at fruit load on these varieties, I think this experimental variety is holding up better late in the afternoon as far as root system, etc., pulling water and avoiding wilt. We expect these varieties to yield very well at the end. So we look for large diversity, and having these traits gives us an extra tool for risk management when you make that decision on a variety and a system. So to talk a little bit about risk management, there's several things that you have to make a decision about before you plant a crop. And when you select one of these Phytogen varieties, not only do you get bacterial blight resistance, now you're starting to get root knot nematode resistance in everything in this part of the world. And in 2021, we'll add reniform nematode resistance to that.